Good morning, Central Texas. Welcome to the second half of Kids Community Connections 103.1 Kids FM. I'm Phyllis Jones. Yep, I am still here. You know, October, every time we have a month that deals with anything, you find out that there's more in that month than you actually thought it was. So we know October is breast cancer awareness. And of course, we need to focus on that. And women and men, we can't say just women anymore. Women and men need to learn how to do the self-checks that you need to do. Learn how to do them on your own. And men, yeah, you need to do that too, because you now know you can get breast cancer. But men, everybody needs to do their checks. And women, you need to get your mammograms done. They always recommend you do it around your birth date so you can remember to get it done. But we need to get that done. Focus on it, concentrate, and let's stamp it out. Also, we know it's Domestic Violence Month, so we do know we need to educate ourselves so that when it happens, we can assist properly. Men as well as women, because the only thing about men don't want to come out and say, I get whooped, because got the macho thing going on, and he don't want his friends to think that he's a little punk, so he's not gonna say anything about it. But we need to learn about it, and the more we learn about it and do something about it, it will go away. But I was looking at the months, and it's also Down Syndrome Month. Our special kids with Down syndrome are totally different. They're stubborn. They're stubborn, and when they're stubborn, and they're really good at it, because they don't care. I mean, if they say no, it's no, and there's no recourse. It's no. It's just no. But they're also lovable. Some of them can talk, but when you see, and I'll say our special kids, because I work with special kids, treat them as though you treat everybody else. I mean, you know what? When the kids and I work with get in trouble, guess what? They go to refocus like everybody else. We do not say, oh, you know what? You have Down syndrome. I'm sorry, but you can't go. No, yes, you are. You were acting out. You knew what was wrong. And when we point to the chair and they go over there and pout and hang their head down and stump their feet, you know that they knew they were wrong too. But when you see our kids, like I said, and this is Down syndrome month, so I need you to learn about it. And Down syndrome kids they're not, oh my gosh, they'll be home forever. No, you have a lot of kids that are down. They go to college, they have jobs. They might be a little limited, slightly, but they have jobs, and they can do everything everybody else can, actually. And their disability, don't look at them like they've landed, and don't treat them like if you catch it, you could catch what they got by touching them. Remember that, our kids are our kids. They might learn differently, but guess what? Some of us learn differently too. They're stubborn. Well, we have stubborn streaks about us. Their stubbornness might be a little longer than ours, but we have stubborn streaks too. So we need to learn more about our special needs kids, and learn more about what Down syndrome is. And I said, stop treating them as special little people, because guess what? They're same as we are. They're all the same as we are. They're the same kids straight across the board. If you treat them that way, they react that way. We treat our kids in the class as though they were just regular, normal, whatever the norm is. Kids, we don't give them any more. Now, we might give some of them more time to do their work, yes, because we realize that this child who has Downs is a little slower than this one with Downs and need a little more time to do their work. So that's fine. That's fine with us, as long as they get it done. But like I'm saying to you is, yes, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is a breast cancer awareness month. It's pink. This is Domestic Violence Month, and the color is purple. Down syndrome, I don't know what color it is for Down syndrome. I guess I'll have to find out. And I don't even know if there's any programs going on to educate our parents about Down syndrome. So educate our parents and our community as a whole about it. But what I want to say to you is, when you see one of our beautiful children that is Down syndrome, treat them like everybody else. Don't talk louder to them, because they can actually hear. Don't stare at them like, you're going to throw peanuts at the bear at the zoo. Say hello. How you doing? And you know, they're not most kind of kids that are down. They're very lovable. They'll hug and talk to you. They find people that they grab hold to, and they just hold you and won't let go. And for them, it's a warm, fuzzy thing. But for you, you're like, can you please release my leg? Because I need it back. But what I want to say again and again and again, treat them as you will any other child. Don't say, you know, he has down, so therefore we must. No. Treat however you're going to treat one, treat them. However you talk to one, talk to them. Don't talk different to any of them, because you'd be surprised that they're smarter than you are sometimes, and they're just waiting to see how far you're going to go. So when you see them, hey, how you doing? Be ready for they might ask you, how are you? And they expect an answer. Sometimes you get some communication going, and you need to do so if you can, so that they can communicate better. Because, you know, our kids learn by mimicking, and the more you talk, not at them, don't talk at them. The more you talk to them, then the better they learn to talk like someone's talking to them and not at them. And it's very important that we do that, and that we also listen when they're talking. Instead of saying, I don't know what you're talking about, you need to go sit down. No, let's sit here and figure out what you're trying to tell me, so that we can better both understand and do whatever you needed to be done that you're asking, or get whatever you needed to get when you're asking. So treat them as normal kids, because they are. Don't do the old poor baby. They're not. And let's learn about it, because they're not, especially these kids and Down syndrome kids are in our community. They're not going anywhere. So we need to take the time to learn about it. And we need to get rid of the fear factor, because once again, I'll say, I can see everybody wearing pink this month. Oh man, I can see pink out. Everything pink. I don't see nothing purple. I don't see no purple shirt. I don't see purple earrings. I don't see purple necklaces. I don't see anything. I don't see the purple band that you wear around. I don't see any of that. But we do have pink. So, you know, I've told some people, and I saw this one lady, she had on purple and pink. I was like, that's cool. I like that. She put both of them together because she said that, you know, we're representing both. And you've had some organizations in Killeen to do events and put them together as both, which looks good, because that means it's getting some awareness. And if we want to get rid of something, we have to bring about the awareness of doing it. We can't just say it and it's gone. We have to do some things to make sure that the awareness is up and that the issues go down. So we need to do that for domestic violence and breast cancer, education. We need to do it. We need to learn what the BRCA gene is. We need to learn who, what. We need to know everything about it. We need to know. Lately, we're walking dictionaries. But if you have your cell phone could be your best friend, and finding out about all these different things that are going on, and what's the best way to get to them, talk about them, bring them out, do something with them, so that we can move forward in a positive way and move forward without looking back. So remember, October is breast cancer awareness, domestic violence, Down syndrome. I know that's like what other thing they're going to add in the month of October. I don't know, but if we wait a few minutes, it'd be something else added to the month, so that we'll have to, I guess, divide, conquer, and learn more about it. Now you know our elections are coming up, and the 7 propositions of the Constitution, Texas Constitution, is coming up. You can go to texas.gov, and you can get the propositions, read them and study them, print them off, take them to the voting polls with you, because you can take paperwork in there with you. You could take your cheat sheet. You're allowed to cheat sheet. So make sure if you're going to use one, you don't walk in there with it like, hey, this is my cheat sheet, but put it in your pocket or whatever. But remember, you can have it with you. Your senior citizens, I've asked on the previous show that you go get copies of those propositions and pass them out to our senior citizens in the community. You know, they took care of us. Now it's time for us to look out for them. So give them a copy of what the propositions are, so that they can make a judgment and they can go and voice their vote on the Constitution of Texas. I said the early voting will be the end of October, and election day is, we know, the first Tuesday. Also pay attention because they're going to combine precincts. They have to combine the precincts because there's a low voter turnout on constitutional elections. The turnout for voters is very low, so they consolidate the precincts. So if you're going to vote election day, you might want to check out to see where your precinct is going to be, where they're moving it to combine it. Or you do early voting and you just go somewhere and vote and come back. So make sure you get one or the other done. Make sure that you do make copies for secretaries, for your senior citizens. Make sure you get them a copy and so they can have it with them, and let them know that they can take it with them into the polls. So let's energize our young people, and if we do, we can make a change. But we got to get together first, talk about it, topic it out, educate, and then we can do so. And after this election is over, don't think it's time to sit down, because after that, gerrymandering will be in effect. And I'm sure everybody knows what gerrymandering is, and if you don't, it's when Texas moves, in any state, when you move the lines. When you play around with the lines, and you play around with the lines so that candidates can win, not so they can't. You do that so that they can win. This candidate can stay in the seat. If he had 4 more blocks on this side over here, he could keep his seat. Well, if he's of the right party, he'll do that and keep his seat, and you wonder what happened, because we weren't in the process. We weren't thought about in the process. We were nowhere in there. So we need to, like I said, go back, go to texas.gov, look at the 7 propositions, study them, print them out, give them to your senior citizens, give them to anybody else, tell them that they can take a cheat sheet or whatever you want to call it, tell them they can take it into the post, they can vote. For them, our young people, let them know what the propositions are and make sure they're armed to go vote. And start the process, because it's never too late to do so. Also remember, you're going to consolidate your precincts. So whatever precinct, if you live in 404, well, they might put 404 and 4 and 5 together, and it'll still be 404 and 405, but it'll be as one location. So remember that when you move along, because they are going to do that to us, and most people are going to have a great shock to the system and think they try to cheat us out of an election. When they're not cheating you, they're consolidating, because excuse me, voter turnout is very low at that time. And allergies are killing me. Voter turnout is low on these offset elections, so they consolidate the precincts because they know not many people are going to vote. And that's how sometimes Texas gets to change the Constitution, because they do it on an off year like this. You won't vote, and I tell you, most people who are listening will probably say they didn't even know election was coming, because if you pay attention right now, what have you heard? Nothing. What have you seen? Nothing. What have you gotten in the mail? Nothing. You actually haven't heard nothing about it. Candidate, you have nothing. Candidates talked about it. You know, like I'm talking about the candidates election, but your candidates you have, your legislators, have they talked about it? Nope. Governor, no, nobody's talked about it. No one has. So there's no great remembrance on this one coming up. Only way I'll say I remember is because I always know that on that off season, if no one's running, that's the constitutional election. So I think they should put it on a regular ballot with everything else, but they don't. So we're kind of stuck. But go vote. 7 propositions. Go back. Remember, October is breast cancer, domestic violence, Down syndrome. I don't know if there's any more, and I hope there's not, because we can't afford to put no more dates up in there. But I want to thank you for listening to KISS Community Connections, 103.1 KISS FM. I want you to always remember, you cannot lead a positive life with a negative mind. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.